What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Live Beyond Average podcast. Today, I am just jumping on quick by myself. I'm going to be breaking down a little bit of what is going to be my daily nutrition moving into an upcoming backpacking elk hunt that I have coming up. I was breaking down with my wife the other day all of our food for the trip, and she was helping me calculate everything and help me maximize where I wanted to land my nutrition when it comes to protein, carbs, and fats on this hunt, where I'll be backpacking in for 8 to 10 days, potentially 12. We have 12 days separated and packed out. And so potentially a long duration hunt. And so how are we maximizing our nutrition on that hunt to stay energized, to have great recovery, and still maximize weight and performance while we're out on the mountain. Nutrition is definitely one thing that I love to do year-round with my clients, with myself, depending on what the goals are for myself during different times of the year. And so moving into this hunt, this was a fun aspect for me on how to balance it all, still keep the weight down, and still maximize how many calories I could take in. What we hear a lot of times on most backpacking hunts, guys going on trips, is how many calories can I take, which is great. You should be looking at total calorie consumption because you're going to be burning a maximum amount of energy and calories while you're hiking, especially as you're weighted hiking. So we want to be taking in a lot of calories, but what makes up those calories? Well, our protein, carbs, and fats do. Okay, in every gram of protein, there's 4 calories. In every gram of carbohydrate, there's 4 calories. In every gram of fat, there's 9 calories. And so a lot of times we see guys go up on these big hunts or backpacking trips, and a great way to maximize weight with high calorie is by taking in a lot of fat. So that's a great way to get in more calories. But we also need quality protein and carbohydrates as well, unless you're just mainly rocking off of a ketogenic diet where you're consuming high fats, low carbohydrates, and fairly low protein. If you're running that way, it's going to be a little different for you. But for me, I like to have a very balanced ratio of protein, carbs, and fats. My normal lifestyle, I'm taking in that 50%-ish carbohydrates. 50% of my diet comes from carbohydrates. 30% comes from protein, and 20% comes from fats. It's roughly that, it's going to fall to 18 or 22%, but that's kind of how it falls. And so I'm kind of following that same suit here on this trip. I have increased my fats some just because I do want the extra calories. So let's start breaking this down and the reasons why I do this. For me, carbohydrates, that is what gives us energy. Carbohydrates, that is their main function. They help transport, they give us tons of energy, they raise our blood sugar. And so I am taking in on this trip, I have packed out here 408 carbs per day. In my mind, that is not enough, and I might add some more here. I have 3 weeks left before I go. We're going to see what my total weight of the pack comes to, and if I have a little lenience, I'm going to add a couple more ounces in and get that carbohydrate level up. But I have 408 carbohydrates here within this. Protein, I was really stoked. I knew I was going to have a hard time getting that up. And I have 167 grams of protein. I'm really happy I got that number up. I thought I'd be stuck around that 100, 110. And I didn't want to just take that all in from plant-based proteins, from bars and peanut butter. I wanted complete amino acid structures that you get from animal sources like beef jerky, like whey. So some cool things that I found that have that. Obviously, the Mountain House meals that I'm taking along, I'm taking 2 a day, so breakfast and supper have animal-based protein. I am packing in 3 ounces. I have like 3 ounces here beef jerky. I am going to raise it up to 4 ounces, I believe, here, as I'm just looking at my total ounces. My allowance is what I was doing. But the other great thing that I have is I found the Kodiak started making, like the Kodiak pancakes, started making these granola bars and oatmeal. and a lot of their protein actually comes from like a whey-based protein. So I'm really stoked about that. It's not just all plant-based protein. Because like the protein I'm getting from my trail mix, you know, the Cliff Bars, the peanut butter, those are coming from a plant-based protein. So not that they're not great, they're just, you have to take in a lot more to receive the same benefits you would get from an animal-based protein, a complete amino acid structure. And then as far as fats, I'm taking in a lot of fat. I have 170 grams of fat I'll be taking along with me. So a lot higher than what I take in on a normal day. A normal day, my nutrition is like 80 grams of fat. So that'll be kind of fun to take in that much peanut butter. But let's do a little breakdown. So breakfast, I am packing along. I'm not a huge Mountain House breakfast guy, and I actually wasn't going to do it. I was going to take in other things for breakfast, but then as I was breaking it down, I needed the protein that came from this. So I'm doing breakfast skillets for all my morning. I can get away with those ones. They're not like I can tolerate them. So I'm doing that for breakfast. And then throughout the day, what I have is 3 of these Justin's peanut butter packs. They're just the single serve peanut butter packs. They weigh a little over an ounce, but they're pretty calorie packed. And I'll do one of those. I have 3 bars, and I'll do one of those probably with each bar. So I have the Kodiak Cake new granola bars that they have. I have just a traditional Cliff Bar. I did get multiple flavors for different days, and I just spaced them out within the day so I could get some different flavors. And then I have a Fiber One bar. Not a lot of calories in the Fiber One bar. They don't take up a lot of space, but I purely brought these along just to keep my fiber high. As you're taking in 2 Mountain Houses a day for over a week, a lot of guys do struggle with that, like kind of plugging them up a little bit. So another thing I looked at alongside my protein, carbs, and fats is how much fiber I was getting in a day. So with the Fiber One bar, which is extra fiber. Same with the I have some Kodiak Cake granola and then the oatmeal. They have these no oatmeal packs to get in more fiber as well. And then I broke down and made like a homemade trail mix with the granola in there as well. And that's pretty loaded. And then just for fun, straight sugar and more of just an enjoyment thing, I packed on some gummy bears and Jolly Ranchers. Kind of like little dessertish style things. And then I told you I have the beef jerky over here. I did some assorted different flavors and things like that. So I'll do those throughout the day. And then moving into the evening, I have another Mountain House, multiple different flavors. I tried to keep the flavors I did pick, try to keep those calories rough the same, because everyone does house a little different when it comes to protein, carbs, and fats and calories. This one actually is one of the lower ones I just pulled out here for example. I don't think I'm going to be taking these along. I'm going to try to pack the highest calorie ones along with me, even if I'm eating kind of the same couple every day. And then as far as hydration goes, I'll be packing along a bottle of Seeker, which is our Hydration Mental Focus blend. I can pack along 30 whole servings at 4.2 ounce bottle here. And so I probably won't take along a whole 30. I'll probably take along like a 20 servings. That's the nice thing about these little bottles is they go right in a side pouch, and you're only adding 4.2 ounces, which is awesome. So I can get in some of that, get in the higher electrolytes as I'm out during the day. But broken down, I got a total of 3,830 calories within that nutrition, and you're probably wondering what the weight is on this. I'm at like 30 ounces. So I'm under 2 pounds a day. My goal was to be at 2 pounds per day. So I actually have a couple ounces to spare. So I'm probably going to, like I talked about, I'm going to add a little bit more beef jerky in there. And I'm going to probably add another bar in for some carbohydrates to get that number up. So I'll do a final video probably on this. But this is going to give you my basic breakdown. You know, if I add anything, it's going to be an ounce of jerky, which you're already seeing, in a second like Kodiak Cake bar. The Kodiak Cake bars, they have a pretty good breakdown. They're pretty small and light, but they give you 10 protein, 7... I'm looking at the wrong one here. So we got 10 protein, 25 carbohydrates, and 7 fats. So a pretty nice profile there, and they taste. I did open one up the other day, and they're awesome. So a good profile. I'll probably throw in a second one of those, and then another ounce of beef jerky, and that'll probably cap off what I'm doing. So if I'm debating on how many days I'm going to pack in. I'll probably take in 8 full days with me on the first trip, leave 4 at the truck, and if I decide to change locations, I can always subtract for how many days I'm going to stay versus taking in all 12, because where I'm going, I have a couple different options. I'll probably hike in, 6, 7, 8 miles, spike camp, and hunt from that spike camp. So if it is a bust, I have that opportunity to go back, and then regather up more gear, more food, and change locations. As I'm e-scouting, I kind of have a couple locations that I'm looking at, and so just in case one's a bust, I have that option. But kind of that complete breakdown. So as you're going into planning out your nutrition for the days, don't just think of it from a standpoint of total calories. Because if I wanted total calories, I could just pack these 1.1 ounce or whatever they are. I think they're 1.1 ounce, 1.15 ounces. These little Justin's classic peanut butter spread packs. I could just pack these along and literally pack 30 of these and get a boatload of calories. But you're not going to be, at least for me, I think for most people, you're not going to be meeting the nutritional values that you need to feel good, to perform well, and to recover well. So be thinking about that, how you can maximize your protein, your carbs, and your fats to feel really good on their hunt. The part of being out there and challenging yourself on these backpacking hunts or these bigger hunts that you may be doing, at least for me, is erasing one of the variables. A mental challenge is having a good food supply and having some food that you enjoy. Okay, so there's going to be plenty of other mental challenges while we're out there. So if I can just kind of back part of one out of food, that's going to be great. And I'm going to be in a calorie. I'll be hungry on this for sure. Especially if I'm hiking as much as I plan on hiking, I'll be in a calorie deficit and losing weight still at 3830 calories. So be thinking of that. That is a huge variable on how you may be determining how long you're staying out there. So eliminate some of those variables of challenge. So another variable of challenge, right, is being physically fit. A lot of guys are getting into day 3 and day 4 and calling it quits because they're miserable. Okay, so think of the food as just like that. If you can really maximize that and eliminate another variable of difficulty, you can really focus then on the challenges at hand that you should be focusing on, like the hunt, putting in miles, focusing on getting your animal down that you're trying to do. Or if you're just backpacking, getting the distance and where you need to go in that proper time frame. So just a little bit on the nutrition and what's going on in my head as I'm packing. I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be a great new challenge. The pack's going to be heavy, but it's going to be good. We also have a new product, a new secret product in development right now that I'm going to have some samples along with me to test out while I'm out there. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys about that at a future date too, and let you know how it works, and we'll make any adjustments or changes from those tests out in the backcountry this year. So really excited, you guys. If you haven't been, follow along on that 80 Days of Backcountry. I've been giving you guys a lot of training tips, what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis for my training. You can actually follow along and do them as well, those workouts on the Run to Gun members section at run2gun.com if you're looking for different programming and changing into your fitness regimen. So thanks for tuning in today, guys. This has been a little look into 80 Days to Backcountry, the Live Beyond Average podcast, and getting ready for this Nevada elk hunt that we're going on here in 3 short weeks. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. If you have questions, don't hesitate to shoot them back at me. Always here to help. Thank you guys so much. See you later.